Ain't this interesting? Here's another failing news organization. And I use news organization very liberally. This is Vox. Vox has an issue with incoming revenue, if you will. Case in point, this is from NiemanLab.org. Nieman Foundation or Harvard, apparently. So, Vox Media has shifted its hiring toward part-timers and contract workers since its staff unionized. Whoops. I think it was Tim Pool a couple months ago when this issue came out that some of those Vox Media staff unionized, and so they're not going to hire any more people. They're just going to go towards part-timers and contract workers because they can't afford it. Because this medium, if you will, Vox, is a dying breed. It says many editorial and video employees at Vox Media are at this hour finishing up a walkout to protest their employer's stance on a number of wage and other issues, including guaranteed annual raises, better severance, and revenue sharing on derivative works. Derivative. They're represented by the Vox Media Union, which is affiliated with Writers Guild of America East. And then here's Vox Media Union. Hundreds of us are walking out for an hour to urge Vox Media Inc. management to agree to a fair contract. Good luck, pal. This is your standard, union talk. Why want more money and blah blah blah. Walking out in solidarity with the fight for fair Vox Union contract as soon as the elevator arrives. Well, good for you guys. It says, here's what we're still fighting for, and then we're walking out. Okay. This is one piece of friendly advice from the former guild member. If you want to firmly distinguish in a 1 hour, 1 p.m. walkout from a lunch break, maybe you don't tweet photos of the chicken satay. Huh. Okay. Let's get to the most interesting fact here. Most of Vox's media's less than full-time employees, the ones that you get 1099 from, tax time instead of W-4, aren't eligible to join the union. Ruh-roh. While full-time openings began to steep decline at almost exactly the moment the unionization was announced, Vox Media didn't really begin listing contract or part-time jobs in large numbers until last November. Interesting. Okay, it's very important to remember that Vox isn't operating in a vacuum here. The general outlook for the digital media companies in its class, Vice, BuzzFeed, and so on, is remarkably worse today than it was 18 months ago. Quote, on track to miss its... So, Wall Street Journal published news that BuzzFeed was on track to miss its revenue target this year by a significant amount. The latest sign that troubles in the online ad business are making it tough for new media upstarts to live up to lofty expectations. It says, in other words, a corporate shift away from full-time staffing and toward a more part-time contract or freelance work might well been something Vox Media would have wanted to do if the Vox Media Union had never come into existence. That said, this is also a pretty common way for a company to respond to labor organizing. It's funny that Vox is left-wing, painfully left-wing, and they are sort of for people to unionize, yet when they get a union in their shop, they have to do what usually people do in businesses is hire part-time contract workers, etc. Imagine that. And of course, when you unionize, more often than not, and it's not for every instance in this case, your revenue goes down, your raises don't necessarily go up, and if they do go up, you get laid off. Not always, but this is just how I interpret things. How you interpret this will probably depend on your priors. A greedy company pushing full-time staff toward a gig economy style existence. A union shooting itself in the foot by incentivizing its employer to shift toward less secure jobs. A corporation showing exactly why unionization is important and that it can't be counted on to be an altruistic employer. A company that is struggling in a struggling sector just trying to ensure its flexibility and how it allocates its resources at a time when many of its digital peers are shutting down entirely or going at a fire sale prices. Salon.com, perhaps? I await Vox explainer on the economic Rashomon whenever everyone's back at their desks. Alrighty. And this comes from media.thinkum.com. Okay. Vox Media hiring data reveal massive shift away from W-4 workers post-unionization. Pretty much part of the same job, part of this basically the same regurgitation of the previous source. Basically says, in other words, Vox Union was organized. The company has upped its 1099 hiring and decreased its W-2 openings. Coincidence? Maybe. Not a coincidence. All right, update. Melissa Bell, Vox Media's publisher, reached out to us with a statement. She mentions that an analysis solely based on scraping, let me highlight it. Scraping of an open roles on our website is not sufficient measure of a full-time hires versus part-time and or contractor roles. After the company continues to hire full-time staffers. To be clear, and as can be seen above, our story does not make any statement to suggest that Vox is not hiring full-time workers, but yet they're not necessarily are. This is to be absolutely clear, the observed drop in job listings that do not contain the terms contract, freelance, or part-time after November 17, 2017 is directly from Vox's own career website. Rock, bro. As always, we report based on publicly available information in order to spot trends. In this case, we looked at how Vox has been publicly tagging its job listings with clear part-time, contract, and freelance nomenclature in its titles. That increase in language is reflected in the data. We did not alter it. It is possible that Vox didn't make the part-time nature of certain positions clear in the past. Right. In the interest of transparency, we include Melissa's statements below. Dear Joshua, we are disappointed that you did not ask for a comment on your data analysis. Had you done so, we would have to inform you that, by the way, they're making this statement because I think Vox is publicly traded. If it's not, it doesn't matter. The point is that you can't have this sort of ambiguity, sort of this, they're in financial dire straits. Can't have that happen. An analysis solely based on scraping open roles in the website is okay. 2, we actively hire full-time employees and we have not shifted from offering more part-time and contract roles. 3, we've made no changes to our hiring plan since the formation of Vox Media Union. And 4, we've hired more than 150 full-time employees in 2018 and expect to hire about the same number this year. What are they going to do? We respectfully ask for a correction to your piece. Regards, Melissa Bell, publisher, Vox Media, New York City, New York. Okay. So my summation of the facts here is that just because you hire people doesn't necessarily make you or your business model correct. You probably, if you can look at this graph here right in the center. It says Vox Media job listing, non-contract, non-part-time, non-freelance. In October of 2017, it had 109 job listings. Then it went down to April 2018, back up to July, down, up, and down. Looks like a roller coaster to me, and it ain't good.